Hey, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about the ideal salon life cycle. Most life cycles are broken and they end up with the owner being trapped. It happens more times than I can tell you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how you can prevent that, what the salon cycle should look like. So that not only do you not feel trapped, but you also can sell your business for the maximum amount of money. Typical salon life cycle, successful salon owner, you know, uh, gets a entrepreneurial seizure, if you will, and decides they're going to open up their own salon, their dream salon. So they do it. They get together. There's a lot of energy. There's this big dream that they have, and they get back there and they work behind the chair. They're managing their salon when they have spare time. They're working hard behind the chair. Eventually, gets where they can come out from behind the chair a little bit and start taking on more management tasks. And then they finally get where they can take the handcuffs off of themselves from behind the chair and go to managing the salon. The problem is that most of them end up putting a new set of handcuffs on. They put on the management handcuffs. They tie themselves to the business, and that's whenever the real problems happen because that's whenever most salon owners realize that that dream that I had when I opened this, when I was a stylist, I'm going to do this and it's going to be amazing and everybody's going to love it. We've all been there. We've all had those dreams. That's not it. They're now doing the day to day management stuff. Um, all the problems are all their problems. They everything comes to them. It's all on them. And one things I've seen happen a lot is whenever the salon owner was behind the chair, they were even though maybe working a lot of hours, and even when they start backing off a little bit, they were still getting that constant, "You're amazing. You've changed my life. My hair's never looked this good. What would I do without you? Never go anywhere. You're so amazing." So you're told that several times during the day, and then whenever you take over the management part, you can't do anything right. Everybody's frustrated with you. You're the problem for everything. You're why things aren't getting done. You're why their dog died. You're why everything. Every problem you can imagine, it all gets blamed on you. So generally, the owner's income drops because they don't have the behind the chair money anymore. The profit's low, and then it's just like I said, all the problems are yours. Um, by the way, if you want more coaching on this type of thing, you can click in the comments or in the description down below. It's got a link to our free group, and I do an open coaching call once a month. I do an open coaching call in there. I'd be happy to talk to you about if you're having any of these struggles. Um, so, what most salon owners do to solve this problem is they'll hire an assistant manager. And typically, the assistant manager is either a good task doer or they're a babysitter. That can help some, but that ends up being usually ends up being a problem because that the person feels overworked and underpaid, underappreciated. I've seen it time and time again. A lot of times it ends up making the problem worse because you think they're going to do it and then they don't do it. Or they start off great and then they fall backwards. The other one is getting busy stylist, putting busy stylist in that position of that you're going to take on some manager responsibility. And by the way, we've made all those mistakes. Me and my wife Alice have made all of those mistakes. That's how I learn, and I'm trying to do this to help people not make some of those or those same mistakes. So what I want to talk to you about is the manager trying to bring a busy stylist as a manager doesn't work. At the beginning, I mean, we've had some good intentions, want to help, want to be it, but then the reality of life, I'm busy behind the chair, and then I've got this owner responsibility, and the pay for that's always kind of gray or muddy. Am I paying them a set amount each week to get these things done? If they had a busy week, they didn't get them done. Do I still pay them? I pay them a little bit more commission? But then, are they really getting the things done that need to get done? Anyway, it's very muddy. It's very difficult because everybody knows when you're behind the chair, it can suck up a lot of your time and energy. And plus, if something goes wrong while you're behind the chair, it's almost impossible to handle it. So those solutions really don't work. And most lawn owners tell me, like, well, Doug, I can't afford a full manager. There's no way. So I'm just going to have to do it. And that's where the trap comes in. That's where, no matter what I try, I keep getting trapped. It all keeps falling back on me. I can't go on vacation without my phone blowing up, or I come back and there's all these issues. I just don't know. Because when you try to put that assistant manager or babysitter manager in charge, they could be good for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Beyond that, things start to fall apart. Um, so how do we fix that? So I think the biggest thing is to know your P&L numbers up to the week. The reason that I say that is because that's where you're gonna get the money. Because people say, "I just don't have the money. I can't afford one." And it's because reason is, I found this often, is most salon owners don't know their numbers. It's not that you're not capable of knowing your numbers or managing your numbers. Most of the time, your CPA just is, or accountant, bookkeeper just isn't getting them to you, or when they get them to you, it just doesn't make sense, and you're not taking good actions based off the numbers. So we've created a dashboard that gives you your P&L up to the week, so you'll know this week what you made last week, if you made money or not. Super important. And also, looking at having good dashboards, if you're on goal, if you're on budget, but managing the numbers that matter. Culture is important. Leadership team's important. All that stuff's important, but none of it really matters if you're not making money at the end of the day, and if you're not being worn out by your business. It just doesn't matter. So first thing we're gonna do is get serious about our P&L, and then we're gonna make decisions on numbers that matter. Because we start to see cause and effect. That's when you get to the point that where you really can start to increase that margin. And the idea is we want to create enough margin that we can afford a manager. So the intention is, so now then the life cycle, the ideal life cycle is we go from stylist, opens a salon, works behind the chair, comes out behind the chair, starts managing those numbers. Even maybe while they're still behind the chair, they're managing those numbers in such a way that there's enough money to be able to pay a full manager, to pay someone that can take full responsibility. So you got to be clear about what that position looks like. But you got to pay them what that position's worth too. I think that's the other thing, is underpaying managers a lot of the time. We don't we will pay them more than what we're paying other people, but not enough to really for them to take on the responsibility for that management. So how do we line that out? How do we even that out where we get that where they're excited about the job and we're excited about the job that they're doing? So those are things that we want to do, is to get to where we can do it and then hire a manager. And what I recommend there is that you hire a manager with a base pay, decent base pay, but then put in bonuses based off of profit. And I'll say that again, bonuses based off of profit. So we want our managers to be profit motivated. It's a mistake I see people do all the time. Put gross number goals. If you get retail sales to here, if you get service sales to here, average ticket to here, those gross numbers, those numbers up front may or may not be profitable for you. So they may be letting other things slip. Like I could increase anybody's retail by putting 6 or 7 people on the sales desk. And as soon as someone comes in, I've got someone to put with that person, educate them on retail and close the retail sale. We could increase retail sales, but it wouldn't be profitable because we spend all that money on the labor to get the sale. So hopefully that made sense. Is it That's why I just say it's important that they're paid, their bonuses are paid off of profit. We designed a system where it is, based off a scale. The higher the profit, the higher percentage of their bonus. And so that the more profitable we are, the more money they make. So there's things that come into that. They need to be the eyes and ears at your business, looking to make sure it's running efficiently. A couple things that go into profit. One, you've got to have a happy team. So you got to make sure that the manager knows how to make the team happy. They can't just be a dictator with an iron fist. But they've also got to make sure that part of making the team happy is that we're all following the rules, that we have a predictable, safe environment for all of us to work inside of, that we don't come into work wondering what's not done and this, that, and the other. We want to make sure that things predictable. We want the clients coming into a clean, pleasant situation. So we gotta make sure all these things are happening. Those are very important things when it comes to profit, so that we can charge the maximum amount of dollars. And then we're educating our staff, them do it. We're managing our employee costs at the sales desk, and all those things. Then with the proper dashboards and you as the owner paying attention to the numbers, you can do this. You can set that position up. Then you've got a full manager running it. Hopefully at this point, you're only having to meet with them, once a week, go over the numbers, look at our weekly profit, look at our weekly goals, look at our weekly budgets. Are we on track? Does anything needs to happen? And then they run it. But they're excited to do it because it's a good paying job. They don't want to lose that job, and they know they can impact their income because it's based on the better they manage it, the better they're going to do. It works really well. And the other side of it is now then your business is worth a lot more money because whenever you're still the one managing it, the reason your business isn't worth as much money is whenever you sell it, you're not going with the business. You're not the one that's going to be, you're going to sell it and they say, good luck, see you later. That's not going to, you're not going with it. But if you've got it set up where you've got systems in place that a manager's doing it and all you're doing is managing the manager, someone's much more likely to buy it because you see it, they got good profit, they've got systems, they got a manager. When I buy it, the manager comes with it. That's why it's worth so much more money. Now then, we're back outside of the nightmare and back into our dream. Once we've got a manager running our business, we can go into the business and do what we really enjoy. Rather, if you want to be back behind the chair some because you really enjoy doing it, if you want to interact with clients, if you want to interact with the staff on an artistic level, you can do that. It can become the job of your dreams, or the business of your dreams, and not the nightmare that your dream turned into. So if you want to get clear on your numbers, I do a warp speed boot camp, 6 week boot camp, where we get you real clear on your P&L, your weekly P&L, and on the scorecards that we use. If you want to see about that and apply for it, you can. There's a link below, the warp speed link. Do that, and we'll get on a call, and I'll show you our actual P&L, show you the profit that we make, and show you how we can get you there. It's on first come, first served basis. So the lessons from today are, don't trade your behind the chair handcuffs, being handcuffed to behind the chair, to being handcuffed as a manager. Biggest mistake most salon owners do. And that's where I mean, I've seen people some real down places because they get there and it's just too much for them. It's not what they wanted to do. It's that was not what they were wanting to do when they said they're going to open it, a salon. It wasn't, that job was not what they were looking to give themselves. Um, so what they want to do is really manage the numbers that matter. Figure out, know what those numbers are, manage it so that we can get to a place and hire a manager that's motivated and excited about the income, excited about the opportunity. Um, that's where we want to get to. And then you got to make sure that once we get that margin, we can hire the manager. We want to hire one and train them up, and we want to make sure that they are being paid a really good salary based off of profit, and that they understand what that is. Because then they're driven by profit. The more they make, you make. It's one of the points. Like I said, if you got your salon where it was making, let's just say 15% profit, say you got the 15% profit, uh, would you be willing to give up 5% of that and go down to 10% profit, but you're just going in doing what you love to do, and you could leave for a month and the place would still run perfectly well, if not better. Would you be willing to give up that 5%? I think a lot of people would say yes, or you could say 20 to 15%. Both of those are very doable. Um, saying it, is that something you want to do? But you got to work there to get to that profit first, get that clear, and then do that owner, and then be able to sell it whenever you're ready for maximum dollars. Um, Again, I'm doing a warp speed, 5 spots available. It's only 5 because it's really very interactive and, we really go through each other's stuff. If you want to do it, that'd be great. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you see that that is the way that the life cycle should go. It should go from being a stylist to working in your salon, managing to hiring a manager. That's where it breaks down. I hope that you all see that that's the answer to it. And I hope that you're all able to get there. If you need my help, I would love to help you. Hope you all have an amazing day. All right, take care.